Very good. Okay, so we're gonna go through our Wednesday boot camp here with just a little bit of a similar routine, doing our warm up into our circuit twice time through into our cool down. So first thing that we're gonna start with is gonna be our kneeling Cossack squat. So getting right into it, we're gonna kneel down onto one leg, open up our foot at 90 degrees to the outside, keeping our hips and our shoulders square with the knee pointed down. We're gonna lunge out to the side, rocking back and forth, working into that inner thigh and stretching through the hips. Rocking back and forth. Taking a nice deep stretch from the inside there. Stretching deep into the thigh and moving back out. And switching sides, getting our other foot out to the side and lunging out past the toe. Trying to keep those hips and shoulders square, facing forward. Opening up that inner groin area. Nice and even, back and forth. Good. Very good. Next up, we're going to go into our thread the needle. So down onto our hands and knees. We're going to reach one arm underneath the chest, lowering down, stretching through the back, and rotating up. Getting our fingertips up towards the ceiling. Going back down. Dropping that arm through and rotating up. And switching sides. Rotating up and through. Getting a nice twist through the rib cage. Good stretch through the back. And done. Good. Next up, we're going to go into our glute bridges. Get a little bit of work through the hips and the legs. So laying flat onto our back. We're going to get our heels and feet flat on the floor. Driving our hips up to the ceiling. Creating a nice flat line from shoulder through hips to knees. And slowly, nice and controlled, lowering our hips down, tapping at the bottom, and popping back up. Lowering down, nice and even, tapping, then coming back up. Nice even pace, lowering down, tapping, and driving up. Even down, tapping, and driving back up. Couple more here. Getting those hips nice and active, glutes nice and active. Nice and in control, slowly dropping down, tapping, and popping back up. And relaxing down. Very good. That's going to finish out our warm up here. Next, we're gonna go into our circuit. So first thing we're gonna do is our heel tap marches. Getting our feet a little bit wider than hip width. We're gonna squat back, pop up, and tap our other opposite hand to heel. Moving back and forth. Nice and even pace. Getting a little squat down, popping up and extending our knee. Up, getting that heel, reaching down towards that fingertip. Nice, quick, easy pace. Getting the blood moving, getting things pumping. A few more seconds. And rest. Very good. Next up, we're going to go into our reverse lunges. So, getting some space behind us. We're going to start with our feet hip width apart, stepping back, lunging back, and getting a little rotation as we come down and driving back up. Nice and even pace. Loading that leg and that foot over the middle of the foot. Really focusing on where our weight is dropping down, how we're controlling it back up. Getting just that slight rotation as you step back and down, rotating across that knee. A few more here. And rest. Good. Next up, we have our squat extension. So, getting our feet a little bit wider than hip width. We're going to squat down and up, popping up onto our toes as we raise the hands up above. Coming down, squatting up, and popping up onto the toes. Like we're jumping up for a rebound in basketball. Readjusting our feet, and then exploding back up into our motion. Couple more. Popping up onto those toes. And coming back down. Good. Next up, we are going to do our push-up shoulder taps. So, getting down to the ground here, either keeping your knees down or extending the knees back behind. Getting our strength through the push-up. We're going to lower our chest down to the floor. Press up. Top, opposite hand to opposite shoulder. Press down. Switching hands. When you come down, you want those hands to be right next to the chest. Sucking that belly button to spine. Nice, quick press down and pop back up. A few more. And done. Good. Next up, we've got our Supermans. So, extending out, getting our hands all the way out in front. We're going to pop up, getting our chest, feet, and hands up off the ground, holding for about 10 seconds. Keeping those shoulder blades pinched down and away, and lowering down, and straight back up. Holding those hands, feet, and chest up. Nice flat line, and lowering down. Popping back up. Sucking that belly button to spine, getting those hands and feet up, bending down. Couple more, popping up. And lowering back down. Last one, popping up. And lowering back down. Very good. Next up, we're going to get into our leg raises. So, laying flat onto our backs. We're going to get our hands underneath our hips, feet extended out for my favorite all-time exercise. We're going to pull our lower back down to the ground, suck the belly button and spine, and pull those feet straight up overhead. Get them over the hips, and very, very slowly lowering down to the ground. Heel tapping and coming right back up. Sucking that belly button to spine, pulling that lower back into the ground. Heel tapping down and popping right back up. Let's go, still got some time here. Try and stay going for the whole time if you can. Almost there. And done. Good, last exercise of the circuit. We've got our mountain climbers. So flipping over, getting our hands underneath the shoulders, popping those knees up off the ground. Hips and shoulders nice and level, and driving the knee up to chest. Nice and quick. Driving all the way through. Getting those toes up. Driving those knees up. Keeping our hips flat. Almost there. And done. Good. Starting back at the top, we have our heel tap squats. So getting our feet about hip width apart, maybe a little bit wider. We're going to squat down, bring that heel up, tap into the other side, nice and quick. Getting those motions, getting that knee, that heel up, keeping our chest nice and tall. Tapping up and squatting back down. A few more, keep it going. Almost there. Just about halfway through the workout. Keep it going. And finished. Good. Next up, we have those reverse lunges. So, getting one foot back behind us. We're lowering down onto that front foot, a little bit of rotation. Switching feet. Stepping back behind. Keeping that weight over the midpoint of the foot. And driving back up. Stepping back, driving up, all the way through, driving back and forth. A few more seconds. And done. Good. Next up, we have our squat extensions. So, getting our feet about hip width apart. We're gonna squat down. Get those hands up as we explode up through the top, popping up onto our toes. Driving our hips back, knees forward, keeping the weight over the middle of our feet. Extending up onto our toes. Moving nice and even. Few more. Keep it going. Time's almost there. Really lock in those last few. Last one here. And done. Good. Next up, we've got our push-up shoulder taps. So, same thing. Getting our hands down to the mat. Either staying on our knees or extending the feet back behind us. We're going to lower the chest down to the hands, tap back and forth, lowering down to the hands. Nice even pace. Sucking that belly button and spine the whole time. Driving the ground away. Keeping a nice, even, focused working pace. Do our strength portion here. Almost there. A few more seconds left. Last one. And down. Tap, tap. Good. All right. Next up, we have our Supermans. So, laying down onto our stomach, extending the hands out forward. We're going to pick the hands and feet up with the chest, holding at the top for 10 seconds. Nice and extended out, lowering down and popping back up. Holding, squeezing those shoulders away from the head and lowering down, coming back up. Squeezing and lowering down, popping back up. Few more here, lowering down, and again, popping up. Holding, holding, and lowering down. Again, popping up. Last one. And lowering down. Good. Next up, we're flipping over for our leg raises. Getting our hands underneath the hips as the feet extend out. Pulling that lower back down to the ground and sucking belly button to spine. We're going to swing the toes up and slowly and done. Good. Next up, we've got our mountain climbers. Last little bit of work here through the circuit. We're going to get our hands and knees down on the ground. Hands directly below the shoulders, slightly wider than the chest. Extending the feet back and driving the knees up. Nice and quick. Not stopping those feet. Keeping those hips nice and steady. Sucking the belly button to spine. Driving, getting those knees up. A little bit of quickness here. Last little bit of work. And then we start our cool down. Finishing out the session. Nice steady drive. A few more seconds, keep it going. Keep those knees up. Almost there. Keep pushing, keep pushing. And rest. Very good. Nice little bit of work there at the end. Take a second to catch our breath. Deep breaths in and out. All right, first thing for our cool down, we're gonna try and connect and stabilize the full body here with our bird dogs. Okay, so staying on our hands and knees, we're gonna extend one hand out, sucking that belly button to spine. Getting one hand extended, connecting fingertip through the toes. Driving the ground away. Holding, keeping one side steady here for a long time. Trying to catch our breath, focus in, and drop that hand and knee back down. Extending out other side. Full extension from the toes through the fingertips. Trying to keep that weight even between the heel of our hand and our knee. Sucking that belly button to spine. And lowering down. Good. From here, we're going to rock back into a child's pose. Driving our hips back towards the heels. Extending the back. Just trying to drop everything out and release that tension through the spine. Allowing things to decompress. Nice big deep breaths. Trying to release the tension in that spine. Oh. And coming back up. Flipping over onto our back. Actually, we're going to stay seated. So, having the legs extended out, we're going to bend one knee up and over the other leg. Getting our forearm outside of that leg and twisting our body around. So I've got my right knee bent up, brought over the leg, and my left hand comes to the outside of that right knee, twisting my torso and bringing my shoulders around the other direction. Twisting through the spine and that lower back. And coming forward, we're going to hug that same knee to chest, stretching through the outside of the hip and the glutes. Taking nice big deep breaths into the nose, out through the mouth. From here, we're going to wrap our fingertips around the front of the shin or place them behind the back of the knee, and we're going to lean back, still pulling our knee to chest, hugging that knee in, stretching through the back side of the hip and our hamstrings. Maybe coming out and down to the side a little bit. Hugging that shin into the chest. And extending that leg back out. Crossing one foot over the knee and twisting through the lower back and spine as we bring that opposite hand outside of the knee. Leaning forward, hugging that knee to chest. Getting a lot of good hip work in here. And hugging that knee to chest as we lean back. And extending the leg back out and finishing up our session here today. Thank you so much for hopping in. I hope you enjoyed the workout and got a good one in. Definitely felt like I got my heart rate going, sweating a little bit there, so I hope you guys did too. Have a great rest of your week, and don't forget to stay active on our SharePoint and our channel.
Thanks, Quinn.
Yeah.
Good Friday.